Good evening, folks. This is Ron Tyler with the Emergency Management Associates.
Folks, this is Ron Tyler with the Emergency Management Associates coming to you live from the crossroads of the West in Lake City, Utah. The time right now is 7:05 p.m.
It's barely clear on the backside of the sun, and the earth is located the earth is located around 3.5 miles southeast of the Earth now. The solar wind is also
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you might be on this planet of ours. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. My name is Ron Tyler. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody to our show this afternoon, this morning. Guys, this is a special report. We will be back on the air normally at 6 p.m. tonight. But this is a special report about Mount Hood. Mount Hood is not erupting, but I believe it's getting ready to erupt. This is a situation as it looked like from the satellite earlier this morning. There are presently 26 earthquakes that have struck mostly on the south side of Mount Hood, the southern flank of Mount Hood. The earthquakes that have hit to the north, I don't believe those are related. If they are related, these may be magma related, magma coming into the volcano from the north side of the volcano. The one to the west, we believe that's also magma related, but this is magma coming into the volcano. I'm going to show you some seismograms to show you what I'm talking about. Folks, this is Palmer Lift. This is the northern rim of the mountain. The northern rim of the mountain. Folks, I've been watching this for a very long time now. I've been watching Mount Hood for probably 3.5 years of my 4+ years on the air. Folks, this is not extreme. Okay, we had a similar occurrence just a couple years ago when Mount Hood had been hit 126 times within a 24-hour period. With only 26 earthquakes here, this is not as serious as that. However, this is somewhat serious considering where these earthquakes are. The earthquakes are on the southern side of the volcano. Okay? This shows in this shot right here, and this was yesterday. Look at all the magma coming into the magma chamber yesterday evening. Okay, this seismogram started at 4 p.m. yesterday afternoon. Look at all the magma coming into this volcano, and also look at these earthquakes. Okay, look at these earthquakes. That first one lasted about 30 seconds. Then it dissipated, and within about 20 seconds later, another 2.2, 2.6 magnitude earthquake hit just moments after the first. Look at the other data here. It still shows a lot of tremors hitting this mountain here. And you see some instances of increased magma, where each line here represents 15 minutes of data time. 15 minutes of time. Notice where the lines are thicker and getting thinner, or thinner and getting thicker. This is called pulsed magma. P-U-L-S-E-D magma. Okay? The magma coming into the magma chamber here. Okay? Sometimes it's thinner, gets thicker, and then gets thinner again. That's what we're seeing here. Okay? But we're also seeing these tremors here. Okay? And this went on until later in the day. Look at the magma right now. Okay? Look at the magma. It's starting to go in again. Okay? The magma is starting to go in again. This is what I'm talking about. I want everybody to understand where this volcano is and what is going on. Let me show you another shot, and this is just as important. This next one is going to be from Timberline, which is basically government camp. This seismogram comes from the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. The other one came from the USGS. Look what we're seeing here. Okay? Again, this seismogram started last night, yesterday afternoon, at approximately 5 p.m. Okay? You see the magma coming into the magma chamber. You see those earthquakes, the 3.0 and the 2.6 that they called it out. Now, folks, we know that the USGS is not totally telling us the truth. We know that from the outset. Now, I have reason to believe, and I'm still researching it, but I have reason to believe, and I'm going to put it on the air right now, that this may have been a large earthquake, upwards of a 4.0, 4.5 earthquake. That first one we're seeing here. The seismogram here has been altered. We know that they are altering these seismograms, plain and simple. Okay? They alter it by reducing the size of the seismogram, reducing the magnitudes on the seismogram. They've been doing this for infinity, okay? Forever. They just don't want to tell us the truth. Okay, but I believe that first earthquake may have been a 4.0, 4.5 quake. We are watching this very carefully. As I am saying right now, this is not as serious as it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago on a Sunday, they had 126 earthquakes here. The USGS has not issued an eruption advisory here. They've just advised everybody that the earthquakes have hit. That's all they have done. I don't believe this is as serious as it was 2 years ago. However, judging by where those earthquakes are, and I'm going to go back to that picture right now. Let me take this one down and put the other one back up. Look where these earthquakes are. They're on the southern side, the southern flank of Mount Hood. Now, every one of these earthquakes and tremors are not more than a mile to a mile and a half deep. A mile to a mile and a half deep. Why is this concerning? Because, folks, the majority of these earthquakes are not at the summit. They're not at the summit. This would pose some, or should pose, some serious questions, not only to us, but also to the scientists. we may be seeing something similar to what happened at Mount St. Helens in 1980. This could be signaling a breach of the volcano on the southern flank of the volcano. This may turn out to be like what happened at Mount St. Helens when the side of the volcano burst. Now, I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just showing you the facts of what we see right here. All the seismograph signals are coming from the south side of the volcano. Now, I do not see any bulging. I'm going to try to get someone to give me a look at Mount Hood. I don't want anybody to risk their life. I do not want you to get anywhere close to the volcano. But if you can get a good shot of Mount Hood, I specifically want to see maybe a shot from the east looking to the west at Mount Hood. So we may be able to see a slight bulge, if you will, on the southern flank of the volcano. That would be very helpful to us at this point in time, if it was a current picture of Mount Hood. Now, if and when this volcano would erupt, if and when, at some point it will erupt. I don't think we're anywhere near an eruptive phase right now. It could change. We could get an onslaught of earthquakes here. It's still possible. Already, the USGS has already been starting to take down some of the earthquakes on the map. At least 2 of them from last night they're taking down already. Okay? I saw 2 of them, a 1.6 and a 1.8, just to the west side of this swarm. Okay? Just to the west side of this swarm, they were already starting to take those earthquakes down. Those earthquakes happened at just after 6 p.m. yesterday evening. So they're already starting to take them down. Usually the USGS leaves the earthquakes up 24 hours. So this is also a breach of their protocol. Okay? They may be taking them down so they can get the public to trust that nothing's going to happen. That would make sense because USGS doesn't want anybody to think that anything is going to happen. That's their modus operandi, their method of operation. They want everybody to believe nothing's really going on. But we had, like I said, a swarm of earthquakes that started yesterday afternoon. And they've continued all day and all night long. There was a small swarm that started just after midnight last night, early this morning. Okay? Like I said, I do not believe that this is a swarm that's going to get larger. At least I'm hoping not. That is not what it appears to be doing at this point in time. But that could change. Okay? Now I will be updating this on the 6 p.m. broadcast. Okay? So there is that hope right there. We will also talk about some of the other volcanoes, including Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier. Just so you know, Mount St. Helens has really extremely calmed down since our last update last week. It has calmed down significantly. Mount Rainier, on the other hand, it's just as active. Minor earthquakes and tremors hitting all over Mount Rainier. A ton of earthquakes and tremors hitting all over Mount Rainier, and I'm talking hundreds. Hundreds. Anyway, on top of that, yesterday morning I had people sending me notes and email messages about an earthquake that struck Monday night and Monday morning. Yes, we had another 2.6 magnitude earthquake that hit just just west of Asheville, North Carolina, in a town called Canton, Canton. A 2.6 magnitude earthquake hit there. This is the 6th. Okay? They want people to believe, again, that this is nothing. Okay? They said it was a 3rd or 4th earthquake that had hit Canton. It's not. It's the 6th earthquake in a series of earthquakes that have hit here in Canton, North Carolina. This is about an hour and 30 minutes away from me. Asheville is about an hour and 40 minutes away from me. Canton is just a little bit further west on Highway 40. Okay? But I live just in this picture just to the right of Asheville here. And you can see the highway. You can see, I shouldn't say the highway. You can see the county markings. Okay? I live about 2 counties over from where Asheville is. But folks, we did not feel that quake. These are minor earthquakes. And depending on the ground makeup, the rock and or soil makeup of the ground will let us know just how far those seismic waves travel. But we did not feel it because it was a minor earthquake. It was just a minor earthquake. Okay? So that's what's going on here. Again, I want to emphasize to you that why we are getting these earthquakes over here on the East Coast. The Atlantic plate, where the Atlantic Ocean is, the Atlantic plate is expanding. It's expanding from the middle and pushing east and west. In this case, the Atlantic plate is pushing the North American plate in a south-southwesterly direction, which is causing all the quakes and tremors up and down the entire Eastern Craton, or the Continental Divide, as we want to call it. All the way from northern Canada, all the way down south into Georgia. It's changing. The entire continent is changing. And we're going to continue to see this for time immemorial, probably. It's going to continue. That's why we're seeing pressure on the New Madrid Fault. Tomorrow night, I want to talk extensively about the New Madrid Fault and what's going on. You need to know. I'm also going to be talking about California at some point in time. Earthquakes are still hitting Southern California. We need to talk about that. But like I said, the biggest story of the day right now is over here at Mount Hood. Okay? One other thing. A new story that started happening this morning. Kilauea has lit up again. Kilauea is erupting. You can see the lava bursts, the lava fountains coming out of the solidified caldera here at Kilauea Halemaumau crater. You can see it here. I hopefully will have video for you tonight showing you the actual magma or lava fountains that are sprouting up here on the caldera. The caldera is the hardened lava base, the hardened lava table that hardened after the last eruption. Now this is the fountain that came through the weak portion of the caldera, and it is erupting again. We'll talk more about that tonight. But folks, I hope you have a good day. Does anybody have any questions? I will take questions at this point in time. Richard Smith says ground density determines seismic energy potential. You're absolutely right. We have NCWQ Explorer with us today. She said she lives in this area as well. She didn't feel them either. Renee lives in this area too, and she lives east of me. and she didn't feel them either. NCWQ Explorer says, "Hi, Ron. Well, I appreciate you too. By the way, NCWQ is having her yearly fundraiser. She's having a fundraiser on her channel, and I would highly recommend visiting her channel. She's a good lady. I've known her for many years now, and we're very, very good friends. And she talks about earthquakes and such as well. But she is great. She really is. KF is over in Lincoln County, which is also east of me. Didn't feel it there either. NCWQ says there were 4 in North Carolina. I saw 6 on the seismogram. Also, besides North Carolina, South Carolina is getting hit too. Okay? I'll talk about that as well. There are a ton of earthquakes hitting over in the same area that we saw earthquakes hitting in South Carolina last year, and they're hitting again. Again, the agency's downplaying it, but we have seismograms to show that it is not and should not be a downplay. It should be recognized for what it is. Earthquakes on the Craton in South Carolina. We'll be talking about that as well. KF says, how big would it be for us to feel it over in Lincoln County if we're sensitive to it? Probably a 3.0. A 3.0 is a small quake. Okay? 2.0, 2.9, it's highly unlikely anyone would feel it. And they want to make everybody to believe that these earthquakes that have hit here in Canton are just 2.6s. They may have also been larger than that. There were some minor felt reports. Not that many, but there were some felt reports, which would tell me that it was a little bigger than a 2.6, or even the others as well. Hurricane Heather says, I would be getting away from Mount Hood. I don't know about that right now, Heather. We've had this happen before at Mount Hood. But that time it was 126 earthquakes in 24 hours. I don't believe that's what we're seeing here. But this, I could be wrong. We may see a huge increase in tremors and earthquakes there, in which case I would agree that maybe it's time to be thinking about getting away from Mount Hood. And with that said, what would be a good idea where would you go? Okay, we know for a fact that when Mount Hood does erupt, there will be lava flowing down the sides of the volcano. There will also be an eruption burst, and it's going to go into the air. How strong will that be? I don't know. But there will be ash and some pieces of molten lava flying into the air. And with that ash flowing into the air, it's going to proceed east. Wind currents will take that ash east. There will be some to the west of the volcano, but the majority of that event will be blown to the east. Also, there will be lava flowing down the southern side of the volcano if and when this erupts, as I think it may. If it goes out from the side of the volcano to the south, there will be a lahar. There will be a lahar. There's still snow at some parts of the summit. If that breaks down and the magma gushes out of the southern flank of the volcano, there would be a lahar. But there will also be a huge cataclysmic lava flow flowing out of the southern end, if that's what happens. So people to the south end of the volcano should also be thinking a plan. You need to have a plan, everybody. Anybody living in that area especially, you should have a plan for evacuation and what you're going to do and what you're going to take. You need to write out that plan immediately. We've been talking about this for a great long time. You need to have a plan, and you need to have a plan how to get out of there ASAP, if not sooner. Okay? Nadine says that she could always use prayers. Prayers are always a good thing. Yes, we will pray for you, Nadine. We appreciate that. Crantalot says we moved from northwest to northwest Arkansas. I don't blame you for that. But even northwest Arkansas is not going to be a really good place when the new matter goes up. Northwest Arkansas, even though it's west of the new matter fault, you're also still going to get heavy shaking. Heavy duty shaking. Anywhere near the new matter fault is going to get heavy duty shaking. East, west, north, or south. And yes, Heather could use some prayers too. She's going through some things in her life. She would need some prayers, and we want to pray for her as well. And thank you, Heather. We appreciate all you do for us as well. There are quite a few of you here. Catherine Sigerson in Canada says, I lost power and internet yesterday. We flooded bad from the storms. It was a learning experience. Got to get their radio. Yes, you need to have a radio, Catherine. You really do. Everybody needs an emergency radio. AM, FM weather radio. You need to get those. Those are like $20. And I understand in a lot of cases, including me, if I had to spend $20 on a radio, that would be $20 that I would be taking from someplace else. I have 3 radios now. I have 3 radios. And I don't think I'm going to get any more AM, FM weather radios. I'm fine. But I wanted a backup to a backup, so I have 3 now, just in case. But everybody needs to have prayers. Hurricane Heather says, if Shasta looked like that, I'd be putting some distance between me and her. Yeah, that might be an idea. Okay? I'm not saying it's a bad idea. But right now, I just don't think that Mount Hood is going to erupt at this point in time. I could be wrong. I hope I'm not. Any other questions? And prayers up for Richard as well. He's got a tumor on his finger. Bless your heart. Oh, that's gotta be painful. He says, before I get to see a surgeon, yes. So we'll pray for you too, Richard. God bless you. Any other questions? I want to make this short because I'll be coming on the air a little bit later. But I thought that this was necessary. I wanted to come on the air last night, but I just couldn't. So much was going on. I had a doctor's appointment. I didn't really get anything new news at all from my primary physician. It was just basically a question and answer session, mostly answers from me about what's happened to me during the last 6 months. And that's been a lot. I had a rough night the night before that, the night before last, before I went to the doctor, and I had somewhat of a rough night last night as well. I had a lot of pain all over. So guys, prayers for everybody. We appreciate that. God bless you all, guys. We really appreciate you being here. Like I said, we will be back here tonight to talk more about earthquakes, volcanoes and such, and anything else that happens. If anything else were to happen between now and tonight, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information would come available. Until then, have a great day, guys. We will see you tonight. God bless you all. God be with you till we meet again. See you soon, everyone.